Hi, afternoon everyone. So, final video, I actually want to do a bit of a chat about how I integrate movement into work. We talk about work-life balance. That's a really common phrase. I actually prefer to use work-move balance. Um, so, a big part of why I do this is I've had so many days where I haven't realized I've had control. And so I'll work 9 to 5 and I look at my Fitbit and it says I've done 2,000 steps because I've decided not to work out that day. Or even if I have done a workout, I might even only say 5,000 steps. And I go, oh God, I feel awful. I've barely moved. I'm lethargic because my body's just been seated the whole day. And so, yeah, I just want to avoid that as much as possible. So this whole quarantine period has taught me a lot about how you can actually build movement into your work day. So whilst you still got your morning workout routine, and you might do an afternoon walk, I think it's still really important to move around as much as you can during the day. And so depending on what meetings you have, you can still build that in. So I think we're all checking emails at the moment. Let's start there. So what I like to do is I'm fortunate enough that I can check my emails on my phone. And I actually learned this from one of my ex-managers. So, because he was an absolute expert at moving in his day. He'd do walking meetings. He'd check everything on his phone as much as is possible, because the phone is quite a good device for not writing out essays, but for just doing checks for important information. So what I'd do is I'd be walking around my block with my phone. I would be not writing any emails, but checking. So first go through, do a first wave, close any emails that don't need any responses, check the information that's come through that you need to be ahead of, and that will probably maybe be 50% of your emails. But that would have been time that usually you'd be sitting down and checking, but you don't really need to be. And then if you've got chunky emails, so there's lots of information that you need to read through, still walk around while you're doing this. There's no problem with that. And then what you'll probably have is only a few emails left that you actually need to type out a lengthy response to. Those that have a quick response you can still do while walking around, but if you've got a few that need a lengthy response, probably that's a good time to stop walking around and stop movement. And so what you can do is actually go back and sit down and write it out. And then probably in your day you have a bunch of different teleconference calls. Now, it really depends on what you have. So I find if I've got teleconference calls where it's one-on-one, that it actually adds, if I'm presenting, so it actually adds that I've got my video on or I'm presenting slides. I like to be stationary, but stationary doesn't have to mean sitting down as well. So I'll actually show you my really weird home office setup for what I do to stay standing as much as possible. So anyone can make a standing desk. If you've got a desk, all you need to do is stack it up to probably your collarbone height, your chin height at max, and you can use that as a standing desk. So I literally just stack my laptop on a bunch of pillows on the bed, and that allows me a surface where I can stand during anywhere a teleconference call between half an hour to an hour, and I'll feel much better from standing rather than sitting the whole time. Of course, you can have periods in your day where you're seated. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're doing it for 8 hours straight, that's going to do massive damage to your body, and it's probably going to leave you feeling awful. So yeah, if you've got teleconferences where you need to present, try and stand as much as possible. And then that brings us to the other teleconference calls where you basically just need to listen in, and that's it. And you may not even need to see incoming video, so you don't even need to be on Wi-Fi. If you've got calls like this, find a quiet area, an area you know well, so walking is automatic movement, and just walk around while you're on it. What I find is that if I'm at my laptop, I'll actually get distracted a lot of the time. If it's a kind of telecon where I need to take in information, but I don't need to take notes or anything like that. So I'll get distracted and try and do other work, and where I've actually missed important information. So I always walk around on these ones. There's other calls that you might have where it's one-on-one with someone. I would actually recommend, if it's not video, just pace around your own house or flat. I've got a 1-bedroom flat and I still manage to do it. So there's nothing wrong with that, or at least stand up for these ones. And then the calls that I would say you have to just sit down for is those presentations that you're giving. Or if you've got a small team meeting, or you really need to see the intricate details of what's on the slides that are being presented, and you have to take notes. So that's how I kind of integrate movement into my day. I've got a few examples where I have done this, and during a work day, still doing 100% capability, I've been able to walk around 10,000 to 15,000 steps, and I've got days where I haven't done this, and I've done about 100 steps. And I tell you what, you feel much better when you've moved. So try and integrate something into your work, movement into your work day, so it doesn't all have to be in the morning or after work. And if you've got any other suggestions on how you do this, like if you've got a treadmill desk, that is the absolute best, or a cycling desk, there's nothing that can beat that. If you've got any other suggestions, put them down in the comments below.